All right, let's get right into it. If you run a business, I'm willing to bet you've asked yourself this exact question. Where does the marketing money go? Do you pour it into Google Ads for that instant traffic hit, or do you play the long game and invest in content marketing? It's a huge decision, and today we're going to break down the numbers to help you figure out the right strategic move for you. So let's just start with this one number, 62%. What is that? Well, what if I told you this little number could completely flip how you think about your business's growth, its profitability, really the entire foundation of your marketing? Yeah, it's way more than just a stat. It represents a fundamental choice you have to make. And there it is. That's 62%. That's the potential cost difference. It's how much cheaper content marketing can be than paid ads. But look, this isn't just about pinching pennies. This is about the massive difference between building a real asset for your business, something you own, versus just, renting some temporary traffic. And that really brings us right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It's the classic marketer's dilemma. Do you go for the quick win, that instant gratification you get from a paid click, or do you play the long game, building a solid foundation for growth that's actually sustainable? Let's really unpack the economics behind that choice. Okay, so on one side, you've got Google Ads. Think of this as depletion economics. It's simple. You put money in, you get traffic out. But the second you stop feeding the machine, the traffic, it's gone. Poof. It's a transaction, and that's it. Then you have content marketing, and this is totally different. This is investment economics. You're not just spending money. You're investing it to create an asset that actually grows in value over time and keeps paying you back long after you've made that initial investment. And to put a real hard number on that depletion side of things, look at this, $70.11. Ouch. On average, that's what it costs to get just one single lead from Google Ads. Think about that. Depending on your business, a number like that could absolutely make or break your entire financial model. Now hold on, let's be fair here. There's a reason Google Ads are so popular, right? They work, and they work fast. I mean, Google's own data says that for every dollar you put in, you can expect to get about $2 back in revenue. And that immediate, predictable return, it's incredibly tempting, especially when you need to make sales like yesterday. And this isn't just a Google thing. It doesn't matter if you're on Meta with its lower cost per click or trying to go viral on TikTok. All these paid platforms, they share the exact same limitation. It's a pay-to-play world. The very second you turn off the ad spend, your visibility just vanishes. Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial idea. This is where we shift our thinking from just renting an audience to truly owning an asset. And this is all about the incredible power of compounding. This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It says, one strategy builds lasting value, while the other delivers immediate results that vanish the moment you stop paying. I mean, that's it right there. It perfectly sums up the two paths you can take. And this chart, wow, it shows you the brutal reality. Look at the traffic when the Google ads are on. It's up there, it's consistent, but what happens the moment you pause that campaign? Bam, the traffic just falls off a cliff. It's literally like a faucet. You turn it off, the water stops instantly. So when we keep saying marketing asset, what do we actually mean? Well, think of a great blog post, a helpful guide, or an insightful video. It's a piece of content that doesn't just have a one-day shelf life. No, it gets found by search engines, people share it, and it just keeps attracting organic traffic and new leads for months, sometimes even years after you first published it. And here's the absolute game changer. Content works just like compound interest for your business. Your first couple of articles, they might just bring in a little trickle of traffic. But as you keep adding to your library of content, your authority grows, your search rankings climb, and pretty soon, those returns start to accelerate exponentially. It just builds on itself. But this isn't all about traffic stats and spreadsheets. There's a huge human element here that we can't ignore. We're talking about trust. And in today's market, trust is the ultimate currency. The truth is, people are just way smarter and more skeptical than they used to be. We don't just see an ad and click buy. No way. We do our homework, right? We dig into reviews, we look for quality content, we want social proof, and a whole lot of us are using ad blockers to just tune out the noise completely. That era of just blindly trusting an ad, it's pretty much over. And that leads to two totally different kinds of relationships with your customers. Paid advertising, it's transactional. A person clicks, you pay, and that's kind of it. The relationship often ends right there. Content marketing, though, is relational. You're giving away value, you're educating people, and in doing that, you're building real, long-term trust. And honestly, that's the magic of it. When you teach your audience something useful, you're not selling, you're helping. You're giving value first. This actually builds authority and makes your brand credible. You become the trusted expert, the go-to source in your industry. And that kind of credibility, that is something you simply cannot buy with a click. You have to earn it. Okay, so the theory makes sense, right? But how do you actually put this into practice? Let's switch gears from the why to the how with a super clear, actionable playbook for setting up your marketing budget.
So here's a possible roadmap for you. In your first year, you go all in on content. We're talking like 70% of your budget to build that super important foundation. Then by year 2, as your organic traffic starts to get some real momentum, you can ease back a bit. And by year 3 and beyond, your content engine is humming along, becoming the main driver of your business. This means you can rely less and less on having to pay for every single visitor.
So if we're just looking at that first year, this is kind of what the starting line looks like, a simple 70-30 split. The big chunk of your investment goes into creating those long-term assets, while that smaller piece is reserved for your paid ads. And this is so important. This isn't about getting rid of paid ads completely. It's about using them strategically. That 30% you've set aside, you use that to gather data really quickly, to test out keywords, to understand your audience on a deeper level, and yeah, to capture some of that immediate demand while your big long-term content engine is still warming up. This final quote really brings it all home. It says, "The choice ultimately determines business trajectory. One builds strategic empires through authority. The other achieves tactical wins through temporary purchases." I mean, think about that. Are you playing for tactical wins, or are you building a strategic empire? So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one crucial question you have to ask yourself. When you look at your marketing, are you building an engine or are you just constantly buying fuel? The answer to that question will define everything.